Dr. Nathan, you are running the Karl Kübel Foundation here in Coimbatore in India. Many things within the Indian society have changed, and they have changed having an effect on the elderly within this society. Could you
Yes.
briefly explain to me how these changes have affected the elderly in your country?
Fine. Number one, these families, middle and upper middle classes, craving for education for their children abroad. Secondly, the demand for the husband and wife to be working jointly. They will have to work basically because the needs have to be met. So, why the needs have to be met? In the sense, from my experience, I would say I'm not clear whether I'm content or not. This is where the need hierarchy keeps working. You reach one stage, you first have nothing, you have a house. Then the house, some washing machine, color TV. And then why one house, two houses? Because income tax. So these needs and wants are spiraling, and these families have not been able to plan or even internalize which is going to be the point where they will put a full stop. So, on one hand, the children go out, which is also affecting the country because there is significant brain drain. Okay, it has its own impact on the economics and even the education fund. And again, one of the concerns which I have is the traditional profession. For example, agriculture is the backbone, but agriculturist families, you hardly have anybody who can do agriculture anymore because they have already gone out or have become professional. So, this native interests or native skill sets have not really gone down to the next generation. So this is something that started happening around 80. So you cannot really see this is the reason, this is the reason. A kind of plethora of factors have resulted in one common thing: more money, thinking that it will lead to more comfort. But then it could be a short term result. But when you are gone in terms of 55 plus and you can't do anything more, when you start looking for support, that is
And
non existent.
and that's the age where you realize that your children are gone
Yeah.
and they might not
Yes.
be coming back.
Yeah, exactly. Because you think that they will come back. But then, even in India, children might be within the same country, but the frequency, the bonding, and the family.
It's not that strong anymore because you have
Yes.
taught them to be independently.
So when the future generation children grow up like this, they also remain associated with their parents in a loose manner. I wouldn't say that they are dependent, but they are more independent thinkers, and they don't. Somewhere, something the parents also fail to hold them.
So that
Because
is
of
the European development you are describing here.
somewhere I would not say if we are following, we are copying, we are not adapting. I'm not against that. But then, if that is the case, then you are very pragmatic and you accept what comes your way. But here, you just copy one set and then keep feeling bad for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
So this is where the people will have to know, and from our side, we are trying to start in a very small manner. You visited the home yesterday. The real point that we are trying to do is we have done a few programs on
For the elderly.
for the elderly, planning your retirement kind of thing.
How do these programs look like? What is the major focus of such a
Well,
program?
we deal with the capacities, increasing the capacities of the persons to honestly reflect where they stand. And once you know where they stand, then
You know what to do.
You know what to do, and we can counsel them. So we try to focus on reflection. And we don't want them, in this process, we don't want them to feel bad that they made a wrong decision. The decision cannot be turned around. What has happened has happened. Now, what's the best way ahead for you to remain calm, composed, and content and happy? So, a realization that what I thought I'm not going to get.
So now I have to make the best out of it.
Whatever is available, I try to facilitate them to have the best option and stay with them. They require a kind of support where they can cry on someone's shoulder. The emotional and empathy kind of thing is what these people to begin with require. Because if we do not give them up, my experience, our experience has been that they are unable to do the reflections carefully. So when we start our interventions, we always go for unfreezing. Sometimes unfreezing never happens. You see, it depends on how much this individual has been wounded by the various developments. You start with something and then it leads to something, it leads to something. So preparing the individual to accept reality is a big challenge.
Thank you very much.
Welcome. Thank you.